example, TRY ZAR. Okay. So by using the already rates in the table, I'm going to come up with an exchange rate between Turkish lira and South African rand, which means if I give you 100 Turkish liras, how many South African rands you have to give me? Obviously, the exchange rate multiplied by 100. So let's figure out how to grab without actually eyeballing, because this table could have been 500 lines long, right? It could have been in another sheet. Like, how about this? Let me copy this. Let me add another blank sheet. Cross rate calculator. Oh, we can deal with the formatting, but at least let me make these things centered. Okay. So my table of market exchange rates is in a different sheet. An uncivilized person would actually go to that sheet every time those things changes, would look up the numbers, enter them here by hand, then figure out which one is direct, indirect, and make calculations. Not that there is anything wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But a civilized person uses the tools available. Okay. So I need two things now. One, to obtain indirect and direct rates if both of them are available. If one of them only is available, obviously we're going to use that. And once I obtain, given what they are, I'm going to go ahead and calculate what's the cross rate is. Do you guys know how to fetch a number from a table? VLOOKUP. I mean, those of you who took my earlier classes have seen it. Let me do it using the function helper among the lookup and reference. VLOOKUP. The first thing it's asking you is, what are you looking for? I'm going to look for the direct USD slash and TRY. Okay. To combine two texts, that ampersand actually works. Where am I going to look for that? I'm going to look for that in this table. Since I'm going to keep using the same table, I'm going to hit F4, which makes the reference absolute. As you can see, it put dollar signs before the column letter and the row number. That means if I copy and paste this formula somewhere, those references are going to be fixed. Other stuff won't be. And while I'm at that, let me fix that too. Okay. What VLOOKUP does, it goes to that table that's going to do the search, goes to the first column, and searches for a match in the first column. Once there is a match, the third argument says retrieve the number in a specific column. In this case, I want the second column. Okay, I think we'll check it out. And the last argument is, do you want the match to be exact? In most cases, you do. If so, the last argument should be false. All right. As you can see, as soon as I changed that, the number changed. Because when it's not exact, it's going to bring you the first thing it sees that approximately is like that, which may or may not be what you want. But when I said exact match, it only returns stuff from an exact match. And I know there is only one of them. And I'm going to add one more digit to it. And I'm going to move this to here. I'm just going to change the reference. It's not D, I'm looking for E now. So that's the ZAR. And I'm going to copy these formulas. I'm going to make only one change to get the indirect if it is available. Okay. Instead of USD slash the thing, I'm going to do the thing slash USD, right? So all I have to do is change this. Turns out there is no quotation for direct. That's okay. It doesn't have to exist. And let's do the same thing for this one. All right. NA means I can't find an exact match in this case. That's why exact versus approximate is important. If I make this true, it actually comes up with something. But that has nothing to do with it. By the way, Control Z undoes the last thing that you have done. All right, now let's do here cross rate. Let's do this. Calculated indirect. It's going to make my life easy depending upon what's available. If the indirect one is an NA, that's what the function is now does. Use the direct. Use 1 over direct. Otherwise, direct. For example, what? Oh, I know what's wrong. The slash has to come to the beginning in the direct one. Yeah. Sometimes when you're too civilized, you forget that you made a mistake. Okay. So in case of AUD and New Zealand, we have only direct. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate the indirects, the implied indirects. Because if both of them are indirect, I know exactly what to do. Or I could have calculated both of them direct. In this case, all I have to do is get the formula, okay? Or TRY. Now, cross rate. Since I'm gonna work with the indirect, I'm starting with 1 unit of currency won, okay? That's going to buy me 1 over indirect units of dollars, right? So in this case, 1 Turkish lira is going to buy me 1 over 27.0694 US dollars. Well, I'm going to convert that much into the second currency. Well, for that, all I have to do is multiply it with the indirect. Or I could say indirect for second divided by indirect for first. Depending upon how many digits you want. For example, let's say I want New Zealand and rubles. Okay, New Zealand is direct, ruble is indirect. So 1 New Zealand dollar is going to buy you, assuming you can find a liquid market these days, almost 95 Russian rubles.